Over 45 years here in Australia. What nationality are you?
Croatian, yeah.
Yes.
Used to be Yugoslavia, but they split, so it's Croatian. Yes.
Such a long story in history there.
I'm from one of the islands on Adriatic Sea, which is Mediterranean. So that's where I used to help my father making the wine. So I had the idea, and we were used to drinking. So
you had you've got the background of winemaking, like you're saying. Your dad was a winemaker.
Yes.
For himself.
Yes. That's how people do. For all family, they do separately, individually for themselves, just enough to drink all year.
And that's the same process that you thought of doing here when you come to Australia.
Yeah, you see, I do make all my reds with not using sulfur or preventative, preservatives, because I don't believe in that. And if you happen to drink a bit too much, you shouldn't have no headache drinking my wine.
That's true, because sometimes you have a glass of wine or two, and next morning you wake up with a headache, and you think, this is not good.
No.
But your wine, we shouldn't have a headache.
No, I don't use nothing of that. And my mustard or wine ferment on wild yeast, which is on the skin. So I don't make even.
So you actually use the yeast off the skin itself.
Yes,
so you include the skins, everything.
That's it. Everything is 100% naturally. But
wow.
I cannot guarantee for my wine to last more than 3 or 4 years because there's no preservative.
That's fair enough.
Nothing,
and you wouldn't expect it to last any more than that anyway.
It does lasting.
It does if you got the right conditions.
Yes,
but yet again, the quality of wine.
That's it.
You drink so much of it, you'll enjoy. You can't control yourself on that.
No, if you overdo it, you really never get headache.
Yeah. That's excellent.
So many of my friends love it. They trust that and they believe and they.
And what influenced you here in Australia, coming to Australia to grow and continue making wine? What was it that brought you to become a bigger grower, a better winemaker?
I used to be busy all my life here in Australia making money or making bigger my business. Yes. I had business, marble business, but since I retired 8 years ago, then I put all my energy and stuff into making more wine, more different stuff.
Yeah.
And I enjoy, making it, and I enjoy placing it in different shows and getting medals and all. That's pleasant.
And sharing it with people.
That's it.
Because it brings communities together and people together, and you make a lot of friends from growing and making wine.
It's pleasure when you give to someone bottle and then you get back a repeat. Oh, beautiful! How do you make it? All this stuff. It's pleasant.
But you point to one of these trees here, and that's what I was going to bring up to your attention. Yeah. This is a cherry tree.
Yeah,
what sort of cherry?
Morello cherry. This is the most tasteful, very very tasty.
All right, let me pick one.
They make cherry. They make cherry brandy from those.
This one here, and this is the one they use for also preserving the cherries when they put them on top of the cakes.
That's it.
Because it's quite intense in the flavour.
That's it.
So you make a country wine from this?
Yes, I did last year, and I won gold medal.
Yeah. So do you make your wine from all the produce you have growing here in the garden?
Yes, even from carrots on the front and many others. The cabbage, potato.
Carrots and potatoes and cabbage.
And from anything you can make wine.
Normally you make grappa from cabbage and that stuff.
Yeah, you can make that too.
What's the difference?
Make first alcoholic and then turn after into grappa.
But how do you turn it into grappa? And what's the difference? Because if you're putting it there to ferment.
Yes, you make first kind of wine, no matter what, and then you distillate it. You put it into distiller in a special machine and heat and
to heat it up.
Then you get alcohol out.
To get to the right level of temperature that you need to heat it up. Yeah. So that's where you get the alcohol. But then you put it back into ferment in the barrels or something, and you get the intensity of the wine flavors.
That's true.
Okay, yeah, so this is a cherry, Morello cherry that you use. Do you use that one then too?
Yeah, the loganberries I'm collecting now, freezing it, and when I get about 3 kilos, then I would make about 6-7 liters of wine, which I can turn after sweet, semi-sweet or dry, or I can make a 45. There are a few different alternatives on the end.
Can you explain simply how you do the difference between sweet, semi-sweet, and fortified?
If I want sweet, then I have to stop on 8 when they go barometer down to 8. Then I have to stop it or put it in fridge to get yeast bacteria dead, and then it stays sweet. Or dry. If I want dry, then I let it ferment right to the end.
Okay.
Or
you've got a barometer, like a thermometer, sitting there, and it measures. There's a certain level that it's got to reach, and if it reaches 8, that stays sweet. You put it in the fridge to kill the bacteria.
That's it.
Okay, then it will remain there. But if you don't want it to be sweet, you leave it where it is to keep fermenting.
Continue fermenting, yes.
And it becomes more... Then fortified?
Yeah, then from sweet one, which is on about 8 or 9 or 10 sweetness, you stop and then you add brandy or vodka or something what is not you shouldn't use grappa because grappa is too smelly, not too tasty. Have to be something simple like
brandy or vodka, which has got the alcoholic flavors, but not.
You add very little percentage and you keep tasting it, and then until you get something that's
all right. This is your loganberries. That's your cherry tree. Now you say you use also vegetables, and you got some growing in the front garden. You know what? We go for the front and have a look at what you grow. Let's go.
No problem.
We're at the front of the garden, folks. Here we got vegetables everywhere, granite and stone, because my friend Vinko here used to be a stonemason. Isn't that right?
That's right. Yeah. And now I'm gardener because I retired 8 years ago.
And so you should have. It's so good for all the gardeners and everybody who loves nature. We want you to be a gardener because you've got a great crop.
Here used to be lawn, but of course the no watering and stuff went very bad. So I came on idea to turn it into veggies garden. And Katie, my wife, is very happy because every day we pick lettuce or anything.
And vegetables, everything, whatever you want, you got growing here. Now, like you said, normally the front area would be lawn. You've got the fence lines there. The house is here about 6-7 metres from the front boundary. Now you've used bluestone slate, pieces, slabs cut here, pavers, because of your industry. Create the pathway, raised garden bed, which gives you extra heat and good drainage for the soil. And you can grow all different types of plants, like bulb growing plants, like the carrots there. And you raised it. Does it work well?
Excellent, really. We had already too many crops, one after another. As you can see, I'm squeezing everything in lettuce.
Look at this. These are the tomato plants, and you're growing lettuce in between the rows and in between the tomato plants. One thing that many people make the mistake of with tomatoes is to go out there and water them as soon as they see them doing this. This is wilting. Now, this is happening naturally because of the hot weather. Like us humans, when you're out in the sunlight and it's like 39 degrees as it is today, you're going to be like this. You're going to be walking around tired and lethargic because you're hot, a little bit dehydrated. You need a drink of water as a human, yes, but the tomato plant, it's doing it for protection. You do not need to go out there and water it. Your tomato plants will be burnt, exactly. Plus the tomatoes will absorb too much moisture and become too juicy and less flavour. So, especially when they're ripening, do not overwater them. It's okay for a little bit of wilting. During the evenings, I can guarantee you they'll be back up again. Exactly.
Definitely, yes.
To get quality flavour, less water. This bench seat here, you come and sit down here often?
I do, because it's a little bit on the side. It's not particularly today.
And you can enjoy the environment here and you can watch your plants grow. They're so clean.
I love it, yes. For manure, I did put in a lot of cow manure and sea salt. The liquid.
Excellent.
Mixed with a tonic percentage of water, and then I put all those young when they grow like crazy after that.
And the sea salt's an excellent tonic product. It actually helps to strengthen the root zone and the cell structure in the plant. It's not an actual fertilizer, so don't treat sea salt as a fertilizer which gives it all the vitamins for greening and fruiting, but rather it strengthens the cell structure, meaning it can grow big, stronger, healthier roots to absorb all the nutrients it needs from the earth, and it also protects it from frost and heat stress too. So you need less watering and less mulching around the garden too. So a little bit of sea salt goes a long way.
It's excellent, particularly when they are very young, so that they establish roots and
exactly.
Stuff, everything.
And as they love to say, and my good friends there at Sea Salt say, don't forget the sea salt. Maresi.